Hey there, Bible buddies. I've got another review for you today. This one is a Cambridge Cameo, a vintage edition. This one is in a kind of brown antiqued French Morocco leather. You can see from the kind of the light up here that there's a nice deep grain that goes all through it. You can also see there's some like colored texturizing here. I don't know what you would call it, but it almost looks like a distressed or kind of a just an antique look. Looks very nice. The person that sent me this Bible wanted me to kind of take care of a few things on it for him. One of the things was a removal of the name that was imprinted here on the front. I was able to use a Q-tip soaked with alcohol and kind of let it rest on it for a few minutes and then take a toothpick and kind of rub ever so lightly the name off, and it came out pretty good. You can still see the embossing there, and that's going to be there probably forever, I would imagine. But at least the bright gold has been removed, so it's not so bad, not so noticeable. The leather held up great. I used a leather Consolidant here to kind of protect the leather, and then also I just applied like a layer of leather conditioner over it just to kind of rehydrate it once I applied the alcohol. You can see the cover there is very nice. There's a little very light perimeter line on the edge here. The Cambridge does is very nice. We have the spine with some depressed ribs there. You have Holy Bible Red Letter Edition Concordance in Cambridge. I'm not sure why they didn't put the colophon here like they do in more modern printings. They might have just not been doing it back then. You can see the reverse side here looks great too. Nice deep grain. I'm not sure if this is a like a stamped grain or if this is the natural grain of the French Morocco, but either way it looks great. This is a paste down liner. It's a synthetic liner. It kind of matches the coloration and kind of that like faux kind of antiquing look that the outside has. And down there you can see where it says French Morocco. Very nice. The gilt has held up pretty good over the years. It's very shiny. Apologize. But it's in pretty good condition. There's a couple little scratches here and there, but kind of what's to be expected for the age. There are red and gold head and tail bands. And there is a single golden ribbon. Now this isn't like satin. I'm not even sure what it would be considered. It feels like a synthetic material, but it's rough on both sides. So certainly nothing compared to like today's standards, but it's still a nice ribbon nonetheless. We'll go ahead and get into it here. Now you have the flyleaf. And there was a presentation page. He asked me to remove it for him. I guess he's going to be using it as kind of an everyday carry Bible, and he didn't want there to be any confusion as to whose it was since he bought this secondhand. So I cut this presentation page out, and all I did was I took a big, thick piece of cardstock. I placed it behind the page, and then I took a ruler and kind of edged it up as close as I could and used an X-Acto knife to here make a clean slice of it. And that worked out pretty good. I'll show you the aftermath of it. You can kind of see a little bit of that leftover page there, but it's not too bad. It'll look good, and for the most part I don't think anybody's going to be kind of inspecting it that closely. But there was the presentation page. There's also a family record page, and then kind of your standard children, marriages and deaths pages, and then a grandchildren's page also on there. Now here we have the title page. You can see the Holy Bible with the standard kind of Cambridge presentation. And we can see that this is a Cameo, and it's a 16 MO with references on India paper, and it is also pronouncing text. And we have here some address information. I'm not sure if this has been updated over the years or what the case is, but this is just what they have in this edition here. And I know that Cambridge has used several printing houses over the years, so this might just kind of point you in the right direction as far as where you need to go for information on this older edition. Then we have the epistle dedicatory and the table of contents. And a lot of this stuff is going to be kind of standard Cambridge Cameo. This is an older typesetting, and it hasn't really been updated over the years. It's just a great classic kind of older treatment of the Bible. You can see there's center column references here. The first book of Moses called Genesis. Just kind of standard camo. If you have one nowadays, it's the same thing. The difference being that the paper on this is considerably better than what's available nowadays. The paper nowadays is going to be prone to more ghosting than this was. Let's pop this open. we'll take a look at something of note. This particular edition has a little bit of a crease. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up. A real light crease here, and it's kind of a crease that kind of goes through some of the pages here in the beginning. And that happens sometimes. It just happens during the binding process. One of the weird things is if you try and get rid of this crease and press it out, like it'll fix the crease or get rid of it, but it'll actually kind of extend the edge of the page here. And these pages will kind of pull out and you'll be able to feel it and see it. So it's one of those things you have to kind of weigh your pros versus cons. You know, do you want to have the crease or do you want to have a page extension? I guess if you really wanted to, you could remove the crease, pull the page out, and then slice the page. But I feel like that's an awful lot of work for something so minimal. Here we go. Let me show you a close-up of the text here. Hopefully the camera picks it up without being too blurry. And you can see, you know, there's not very much ghosting. Just really on an excellent paper. This India paper was kind of leaps and bounds above what they have nowadays. So if you're familiar with the Cameo of modern times, you're going to be really familiar with this already. So I don't want to spend too much time on this. Hopefully it'll be a shorter review than my normal ones. But let's get to the red letter. This is a red letter text. So we'll show that. Now this is certainly a red letter text. This is kind of standard for red letter back then. It was pretty vibrant. We can say that word. It was pretty vibrant back then. So this is what you would get. Certainly the Cambridge red that they use now is much better than this. And not to say that this is a terribly bad red, but I feel like after reading for a while, you might tend to want to squint or have a headache, I guess. So yeah, so standard Cambridge Cameo there. Let's look on the back and see if there's anything of note. It did say that it had a concordance. We can see some of that here. So there's the end of the biblical text. And then we get to the concordance, to the Old and New Testaments. There you go. You can see some of it. Now this text is pretty small. It's not the smallest I've ever seen, but it's gotten there. So it might not be the easiest thing to use if you have problems with your eyesight. And this concordance is pretty thick. Let me see back here. I'll take a look. I'll see how much of a chunk of this Bible is concordance. There we go. This is all concordance right here. How many pages is that? Let's take a look. Come on. Come on. It looks like about 150 pages. 151, 152 pages. So it's a 152 page concordance, pretty sizable. From there we go to the Cambridge Gazetteer and Bible Maps. I love this word, gazetteer, however you want to pronounce it. But it's great. It's pretty much a map index of the maps. They just gave it a fancier name back in the day, I guess. I love it. So let's take a look at that. There you are. So it kind of breaks it down. It shows you kind of where those areas are that relate to the map. Kind of standard stuff, I guess. And then your maps. Goodness, these are some ancient maps. Take a look at that. Cambridge definitely does not do them this way anymore. Kind of to their credit. These are a little too subdued for me. Yeah. So. And some more maps. There we go. And then lastly, on the last page of this Cambridge, we will have a production code here. So you see, we have 3/2788, and then a little bit of a gap, and then 74XRL. Now, I am certainly by no means an expert in reading these date stamps and model number stamps. The only thing I can know for certain is that this is probably the model number, RL being red letter, and then 74X That was pretty standard, a pretty standard designator for Oxford and Cambridge. They tend to use X's after like a 2 or 3 digit code there. As far as this is concerned, I don't know if this is the March 27th of 1988 is when it was produced, or I don't know, some other variation. I guess if somebody more knowledgeable in this wants to chime in the comments, certainly please feel free to do so. But after that, that's pretty much it. Kind of a standard Bible here, but an older presentation of it. Certainly, I would recommend if you guys see these older Cambridge Cameos and you're a fan of this hand-sized Bible, I would snatch one up because the paper is so much better than what is currently in the Cambridge Cameo. If you guys have any questions, leave them below. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Otherwise, I will see you later. Bye, Bible buddies. Bye!